Some of the most influential voices in the Make America Healthy Again movement are gathering for a summit in Washington, D.C. today. Last hour, Vice President J.D. Vance took part in a fireside chat with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. The summit really importantly illustrates how far the MAHA movement, which is defined in part by a distrust in government and science, has moved into the center of power. Here in studio with me, Brandy Zadrozny, MSNBC senior enterprise reporter. Dr. Erwin Redlener is founding director of the National Center for Disaster Preparedness and Public Health, analyst at Columbia University. I'm just looking at some of the most, I guess, what were judged to be important conversations that were had. One is that there's a deep level of trust between all senior members of the administration. So I guess where MAHA is concerned, they're on the same page, Brandy, and that the administration has gone outside of the system to lower drug prices. But can we talk about the big picture here? What just the very fact that top level people in the government, including the vice president, are there tells us about what MAHA is and the power it wields.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was a rally. This was a rally and a point of connection for sort of the entire MAHA movement. We're talking about industry leaders that seek to profit off the MAHA movement, biohackers and supplementers and folks like that. And we're talking about MAHA.
So in lieu of FDA-approved drugs, people who sell alternatives that have to have maybe the little sentence that says this has not been reviewed.
Definitely a friend to the MAHA movement. Okay. But also we have influencers there, we have politicians there. This is a moment where you really are starting to see Republicans in this administration say, how can we, in advance of the midterm elections that are coming up, after the trouncing that we have just seen, how can we energize this base of support around us? And they got a lot of flack around these last elections for not igniting that base.
So let's talk about it, Erwin. It's been 10 months since RFK Jr. was appointed. What do you make of the direction of the Trump administration? What does it say about the state of our health care today?
Well, let's just talk about this meeting today, Chris, in terms of your question. You asked who was at the meeting. Who was not at the meeting is another point, which is anybody who knows anything about health and healthcare. These are industry people who stand to gain a lot. We're talking about a lot of money from decisions that are going to be made by Bobby Kennedy and his team of sycophants who are there to help make sure that the industry people in the room, including, by the way, it was reported that Finn Kennedy, Robert Kennedy Jr.'s son, who has a big stake, he's on the board of MAHA Industries, MAHA Enterprises, and if this plan goes forward to really start approving questionable supplements and other products that will be put up for sale, the Kennedy family itself may have a lot of money to make. You know, I was telling Brandy before we came out here that in any normal universe, every ethics committee in the country would be coming down on this so-called Make America Healthy meeting.
So what can people like you, and I know you speak out, there are a lot of the top doctors in the country have spoken out against this, but what can you really do about it? How do you get the attention, get the buy-in that the other side has gotten?
Well, I wish we had a lot more coordination among all of these doctors who are against it and healthcare providers. We're talking about nurses and public health people as well, and they should be. We had a big thing with the American Medical Association, other organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics, who were silent when Robert F. Kennedy's nomination was up for confirmation. They should have been beating the bushes, trying to make sure that Senator Cassidy did not allow that nomination to go through. Now we're facing another nomination of America's doctor, the Surgeon General, a woman named Casey Means, totally unqualified, in my opinion, to be the Surgeon General. We have to have organized medicine, not just individual doctors who are really, really out there yelling to the heavens about the inappropriateness of these people being appointed to run America's health policy. It's really a shame, Chris.
Brandy, is there anything on the other side that can stop this movement as you see it?
I mean, before this movement was a movement, I used to report on these groups and their smaller efforts at the state houses and stuff. And when I talked to state legislators, they would say that, you know, these groups would come and lobby them every year to get rid of or to enact religious exemptions to vaccines and anti-vaccine policies. And every single year, these state lawmakers told me that the same time that they would come, these swarms of doctors in white coats would come and walk their way through the state legislature and show them and tell them the science and say this is, and each year it would get beaten back. But now this movement is so large and it's national, and nothing seems to suggest that they're going to be dissuaded.
You know, it's not about science and health. It's about politics. It is about pure politics. Trump was over the moon, really over the moon, that he got a Kennedy in his cabinet, so everything was okay, and they forced the Health Committee with Cassidy's leadership to accept him, and he knows better. And hopefully now he'll have a chance to redeem himself with the Surgeon General nomination. But it's not enough for the scientists and the doctors to go say, oh, it's good to get your children vaccinated. They have to say stuff like, you cannot appoint a known conspiracist anti-vaxxer like Robert Kennedy Jr. to have the biggest public health platform on the planet Earth. That they cannot allow that. And the organizations were way too silent, in my opinion.
We only have 30 seconds for a big question. Has science taken a hit?
A big hit, and it's just beginning. And this is what we all fear, that we have now people in power who agree with one another. They're an echo chamber of anti-science conspiracies, and it's a problem for the current and future health of all Americans.
Brandy Zadrozny, Dr. Erwin Redlener, thank you both. And that is going to do it for us this hour. Make sure to join us for Chris Jansing Reports every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on MSNBC.